Elon Musk thought he could slash government waste. Instead, Doge became a political firestorm. Protests, vandalized Teslas, cabinet clashes, and a public feud with President Trump. Now Musk admits the project was only a little bit successful and says he'd never do it again. Was Doge reform? Or a failed crusade? US President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency was only a little bit successful, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on a podcast on December 9th, adding that he would not lead the project again. The billionaire, who is the founder of electric car company Tesla, was a major donor to Trump's presidential election campaign and became a close ally and advisor to his administration. Musk led the DOGE team in seeking to slash the federal government's budget and workforce in the first 5 months of Trump's second term. But the role and his political rhetoric sparked a backlash against him and Tesla, including vandalism of Tesla cars. Musk discussed his time at the White House in a nearly hour-long podcast interview with former Trump administration aide Katie Miller that was released on December 9th. Asked if he believes DOGE was successful, Musk responded,
"We were somewhat successful. I believe the initiative stopped a lot of funding that really just made no sense and was entirely wasteful."
When Miller asked Musk would repeat his time leading the cost-cutting initiative, knowing what he knows now, he said,
"I think instead of doing DOGE, I would have basically worked in my companies, essentially."
Musk's work for DOGE also sparked concerns among investors that he was not paying enough attention to Tesla as it faced slowing sales. Later, Musk and Trump had a bit of public falling out around mid-year over the president's sweeping tax and spending bill. But there have been some signs of reconciliation. DOGE has disbanded with 8 months left to its mandate. The Office of Personnel Management Director Scott Cooper told Reuters earlier this month. DOGE claimed to have slashed tens of billions of dollars in expenditures, but it was impossible for outside financial experts to verify that because the unit did not provide detailed public accounting of its work. In an article published by the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, Executive Vice President Michael J. Wrights writes that, as of May 26th, DOGE claimed to have saved taxpayers $175 billion, a figure the organization says translates to roughly $1,087 per taxpayer. Wrights notes that independent reviews have cast doubt on those numbers, but he argues that DOGE's overall mission, maximizing federal efficiency and productivity, addressed problems that had long been evident. He points to examples of chronic waste, from vacant federal buildings consuming maintenance budgets to a $465,000 landscaping contract at Maxwell Air Force Base and a multi-million-dollar USAID grant to bring Sesame Street programming to Iraq. Wrights writes that despite broad acknowledgement of such inefficiencies, federal bureaucracy quickly proved resistant to reform, especially when spending cuts were introduced. Politics compounded the challenge. According to Wrights, Elon Musk frequently clashed with cabinet members and openly criticized President Donald Trump's signature legislative priorities, a stance that weakened his influence inside the administration. Meanwhile, protests at home unsettled lawmakers, and interest groups that relied on federal spending moved aggressively through the courts to halt layoffs and program closures. Musk's shut it all off, then decide what to turn back on approach, Wrights argues, only amplified the backlash. Wrights concludes that while DOGE critics initially lacked a unified message, they eventually rallied around a clearer argument. Waste was real, but Musk's methods were the problem. With Musk now out, he writes, assessments of DOGE legacy remain split. Still, the experiment offers enduring lessons. Know the system you aim to dismantle, question every budget line, and remember that the easiest dollar to save is the one never spent.